Hey beauties, morning to you. So I'm watching the news delayed, meaning, I'm watching the TVJ live after the fact, after the news would have gone on. So it's for me to watch yesterday's news today sometime. Beautiful people, let me tell you something. And this is I know sometimes when we speak, some people may feel it's a gender war. I realize that we're living in a time where it seems to be men against women, women against men. I never dreamed I would see a day like this. But that seems to be the order of the day. And men may say that it has been promulgated because women have often said men, they are dogs, they're cats, they're rats, they're cockroaches, they're scorpions. They've not been good. And men, sometimes in a number of cases, you have given them a reason to. You have. For example, you have been wayward fathers. And I've heard of women saying if the relationship has ended between the man and the woman, the man has ended the relationship between him and his children or his child. And I've seen that to be factual. It seems as if they didn't really love the child. Yes, a child came from their union, but they didn't really love the child. Love is an active word. It is not just a soft, inanimate word that you hear of the four letters. It is an active word. It is indicative of action. So if there's no action behind it, you do not love. I'm sorry about it. Go and read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 1 to 13. See the components of what love is. And for me, even if you can garner at least 70%, 70, 80%, then you would have understood what love is promulgating, the message it is promoting. We live in a dangerous society these days where men are no longer protectors of women, when our men are no longer protectors of the vulnerable groups, whether children or women. So I'm watching the Monday's news last evening where a nurse, she was leaving, was it the Kingston Public Hospital? I think it's that hospital. If it's not, that's another major one. She was leaving the hospital at about 11 p.m., late at night. And they said a man of unsound mind came up with some sort of heavy rock stone and beat her to a frazzle, where she's now hospitalized. I mean, she could have died based on what her colleagues had stated. And what bothered them is that how they spoke. I'm not sure of the setup of the place, and anybody can use their mind's eye and get a vivid imagination that there must be security around the place because one, the place is 24 hours. Two, you don't know, all sorts of people can come there, so you need somebody to man and to watch the place. So we wonder, what protection was she given as a female, part of a vulnerable group, somebody who is not as strong as a man, for her when she's leaving, so that she can at least safely get into whether a private motor vehicle or public transportation, if there is any at that time of the night. What measures are put in place for these nurses? Remember, they are considered a part of the essential forces in our society, essential workers. I don't know, just somebody box bout and just there. They might look bout for your sick papa, mama, pikini, auntie, granny, and everybody. And I'm wondering what measures are put in place to safeguard our health workers. Because it is more than I'm tired of using the term travesty of justice to see a situation like this. This is crazy. And people, and the responses I get, people are saying, will comment and say, this is Jamaica, where are you living? What kind of a nonsense is this? So we don't plan to change anything, because this is Jamaica. So if we see bombs keep coming, we just say, okay, it's Jamaica. So we sit and watch our homes being bombed, our churches being bombed, our schools being bombed, everywhere being bombed, until you get bombed yourself. Are we just going to say, okay, and just throw up our hands and do nothing? We serve a God who is an action God. So if we're made in his image and likeness, it means that we should be action, in quotations, people. We can't just sit and operate like this and say, this is how Jamaica is. Oh, the Bible is fulfilling and whatnot. And I'm a big supporter of the Bible. I'm a big advocate of the Bible. But I think sometimes we're taking things way out of context to the nitty-gritty. Things like these, can be remedied. Measures should be played. No nurse who is leaving at a certain time of night, especially. Day or night, but predominantly nights. When all the vagabonds come out. All the hideous people will come out. And I'm not talking about physically. We're talking about their character, their lifestyle will come out. And or maybe people who are not mentally, I don't know, they are based on what they say, mentally unsound. You know, you don't even know if that is really the case. And be the woman to a frazzle where she could have lost her life. And she's a necessary tool, a necessary person in our society today. No protection. I remember the other day at my vehicle, I said I'm rushing to the gas because it's not a good practice, women, to drive your vehicle down to when it needs gas. I said I was timing it. I said, okay, let me go here quickly, you know, because I hate to buy gas when the time is hot. I think that is what I was running from. I've often heard they say it's best to buy it early in the morning or in the evening. So I said, let me just run to another place, wait, and then go home, wait when it cools down, leave and get some rotted. Well, I stopped at a place that I figured all would have been well. There are people here who would have been familiar with me and whatnot because I stopped to get something to eat. It ran out of gas. What bothered me is that a lady had to almost coax, prod men to help me. They just stood there. Mind you, they didn't know what had happened, but she told them. And they said, so come now. And I said, my God. Man asked me what happened. I told him. And then he got a bottle. He drives. Somebody I've seen for many, many years. Somebody who drives. Or you can walk down to the gas station. And I said, my God. The man didn't even offer to carry me. This is not a stranger. I'm talking about people. When I write, so it's a good thing there was a little somebody with me. They went, male person I'm talking. They went, got it. Right? And the bottle couldn't even fill up 1,000 good. One of the, we never know what you call that size bottle, to be honest. Because I said, all right, let me just do that. And then when later when it cools, I'll put in more. And me still she had to signal to another man to come. Because you can't just throw it in like that. You know, you have to create this sort of a funnel for it to go in properly so that you don't waste it. And I said, my God. And I looked at that and I said, But back in the day, a woman could not break down and a man don't jump. By the time she don't, she feel like she's being carried on a chariot. She feels like she, with a queen crown on her head. The woman had to beg and beckon, plead, beg almost, grovel to ask a man or males to come and help me. So when I heard about this thing with the nurse, I said, we are living in serious times, women. This is not good. It bothered me. I tell you, that situation with my car bothered me. A fright came upon me. And I said, my goodness gracious. I said, God, you're going to have to really protect us as women, you know. We need it. Children and women need protection because I don't know what's happening with the men. And it has nothing to do with whether you're gay or straight. There are certain innate qualities that are put in men. Whether they will just be helpful towards women. Because they know what time of day it is. They understand that we're the vulnerable of the two. They're the stronger of the two physically. And there's a certain natural protection that God has implanted in them. That once they see, especially women or children in need, they run to their rescue. Whether you're gone this way, you're gone that way. I could not believe it. We are women. We are. I'm telling you, I don't want to be somebody of doom and gloom. But if God does not come down and send a so-called a savior, and I put that in quotation, we are in deep trouble, deep waters. Because I should not be hearing in this day and age that a nurse was beaten to a frazzle with a man of unsound mind after passing through different securities. And when her family members were speaking or her colleagues were speaking, they're saying sometimes the security guard sleeping and looking like a mannequin in the place because they're so fast asleep, sound, tired. Maybe the shift, they have to go look at the shifts that they're working for little and nothing. Not protecting them, no business. They couldn't care less what happened to the woman. Where is that love that men would have had for women as back in the day? It's hard, but I don't know if it's something I can get used to. I pray God intervenes and guards and covers and protects us. Because we can't sit down and watch. Since we don't know what to protect, we have a savior we can run to. No, sir. Let me tell you, men, I cannot believe it. It's a shame. It's a crying shame to know that you guys are no longer existing. It's a crying shame. Simply awful. Guys, Follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel.